Because of all the action from the weekend and the fact that the next game week gets underway tomorrow night with 3 games in the Premier League, that means a busy day here at Tartan Geo HQ. And the result of that is I've got one chance at one take of this video. So any mistakes, we're just going to have to embrace it together and go with the flow. But I would like to begin with a question. Without looking, who is 4th in the Premier League? Right now, who's 4th in the Premier League table after 13 games? If you know the answers, because either you're an Aston Villa fan or you're a football fan that gives credit where it's due, or perhaps I put it in the title of the video. I might put it in the title of the video for that reason. Credit where it's deserved. Aston Villa sit 4th and they are in bloody good form. Yes, I know it was only Wolves, a team who had picked up 2 points from 12 games prior to that game kicking off at Villa Park. Yes, I know it was only 1-0. Yes, Emi Martinez had to make a world-class save. But this Villa side have picked up more points than anyone else in the last 8 Premier League games. 7 wins and 1 defeat now from Villa, whilst juggling a Europa League campaign as well. They are in fantastic form. They are picking up wins, not just points, wins. Another good win for them at home to Wolves in the top 4 of the Premier League. Great goal by Kamara. 9 of Aston Villa's 16 goals scored in Premier League this season have come from outside the box. Just win after win after win, banger after banger after banger. It must be fun to be a Villa fan right now. And I still don't think their best players are in their best form right now. Ollie Watkins is putting in some decent performances. He's had some great performances, but he's not scoring. Morgan Rogers is getting back into form, but he had a slow start to the season as well. I still think there's more to come from Villa, and they are already impressive. Wolves, I didn't watch the game. I've only seen the highlights. For transparency, I like to make it clear which games I've watched. Wolves looked a little bit unlucky not to get that goal. It was correctly ruled out in my opinion. World-class save from Martinez. But I do think Arias is lucky to stay on the pitch for that VAR look by the referee, and he's gone in 2-footed. I don't like tackles like that when they jump in. And it's small margins. If you plant your feet in front of the ball, it's one of them. There's no contact, so is it dangerous? Well, it looks like it was well controlled, but I don't think that was what happened here. He made contact with Kamara. I think he was the lucky boy not to get sent off there. But just 2 points from 13 now from Wolves. It is looking grim. You don't know when. They will eventually get a win on the board, but surely there's far too much for them to do now. But well done, Aston Villa. Good win. Good season so far. The game last night at Stamford Bridge, Chelsea won, Arsenal won. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought this was a really entertaining game for various different reasons. We had the tackles going in, we had the fouls going in, had a little bit of spice to it. Anthony Taylor was going wild with the yellow cards in the first half, which can bring entertainment. If you're a Chelsea or an Arsenal fan, it's possibly not very welcomed. But I'm neither. I was a neutral. I was wanting to enjoy a game of football. But I did like it. I understand why Caicedo was sent off. I've got no complaints about that at all. But I was really impressed by Chelsea. Really impressed by them. Even when they were down to 10 men. I thought they were well organised defensively. They were sound. I thought they were trying to pose some threat, but up against a very, very good Arsenal side. And they will point to the fact that they were missing Gabriel and Saliba. And rightly so, because they were missing those players. But still a bloody good Arsenal team out there. And I thought they struggled against Chelsea. I don't think they quite knew how to break Chelsea down. But I was really, really impressed by what I seen from that home team last night. You know, they are another one just slowly and quietly going about their business. I seen a graphic during the week from Sky Sports. And it had Arsenal's upcoming fixtures. But it also had Man City and Liverpool's. And Chelsea wasn't there. And I was thinking, well, why are you not including Chelsea, who at that point, they were second in the league? Why have you just excluded them? When you're talking about a title race, you're talking about the teams in the title race, their next set of fixtures. Chelsea need to be in the conversation. Yesterday, maybe it wasn't a result of a team that could win the title, but I would argue it possibly is. Arsenal have been fantastic. So a draw against Arsenal's no bad result, but especially when you consider the context, which was they played the majority of the game with 10 men. I'm liking what I'm seeing from Chelsea. They are a bloody good team. And Robert Sanchez somehow turned into one of the best goalkeepers in the league over the summer. Last season, he was costing points. This season, he's winning points. But I think that's a good result for Chelsea. And I don't think it's a bad result for Arsenal. To avoid defeat in what is one of the more difficult fixtures of your season away to Chelsea. That is a difficult game, and I know they were picking up, I spoke about it in the preview show, that they're picking up a low percentage of points at home compared to last season, Chelsea, but I expect that to change over the duration of the remainder of the season. A good game and a good result for both teams. Manchester City 3, Leeds United 2. I didn't watch this game. I picked the wrong game at 3 p.m. on Saturday. Man City, but to be fair, after a minute, I thought I picked the correct one. It came up, bang, Phil Foden scored. Like, here we go. This is just going to be a standard 2-3-0 win for Manchester City. And it felt like that was what was going to happen. I have to say, both of Phil Foden's goals, fantastic finishes. The first one, he makes them both look quite easy, but neither are simple. Two really good goals by a midfielder that's having some good games and big performances now, Foden. Last season was a write-off for him, and he needs more moments like that. Man City gone to second in the league now, and there's not much between them and Arsenal. What was it, 4 points? It's certainly something that can be closed quite quickly. You only need a couple of bad performances by Arsenal and a couple of big wins for Man City. And for a side that feels a little underwhelming, they're not doing too bad, City. Leeds United 2-0 down. I think you'd be forgiven for assuming that was a game-setting match after Gavardiol scored. But Farke made his changes at half-time, going to a formation that a lot of Leeds fans have wanted to see for a number of weeks now, going to that back three and going two strikers. They bought a lot of physicality in the summer. So it's a case of, well, why don't we just use it? Why don't we go a little bit more long and go a little bit more direct? Why don't we try and just bypass the midfield, use the physicality that we've purchased? And it looks like it was a handful of minutes away from yielding a point at the Etihad, and that is what I would consider a success for anyone. Leeds United, Burnley, West Ham United, Nottingham Forest, anyone down the bottom table, a point away to Man City is a bloody good point. To be fair, even teams at the top of the table, even if you are Chelsea, Aston Villa, a point away to Man City is deemed a good point in my opinion. So they'll feel hard done by, and they'll have a couple of question marks over, the Gavardiol's goal. Was Bernardo Silva impeding the goalkeeper? Now, he's not offside until O'Reilly heads it. He can't be offside from the corner. So when the corner's taken, Bernardo Silva is in an offside position, but he can't be offside. But it's the fact that he's impeding Perry for me, because he's not just nudging him, he's proper arms around him, backing into him. And I think that's a foul, personally. And then when O'Reilly heads it, Silva's done... He's done this before. He's quite clever the way that he does this, Silva. Just before the Man City player gets his head to it, he moves. He gets away from the keeper so he can say, I'm not involved in play anymore. And he maybe does that part just enough. But I think there's a foul. I think he prevents the Leeds United keeper from making an effort at getting that ball. So I think Leeds were a bit harsh with that one. And then should Gavardiol have been sent off? Is that a legitimate attempt to play the ball? The fact he gets the ball, he would point and say, well, yeah, it was. But he only got the ball after, wiping out the Leeds attacker. So I think Leeds fans could look at that and think they were maybe a little bit harshly done by the officials there and the result at the end of the game. But a scare for Manchester City. I also finished Sunderland 3, Bournemouth 2. This is also the game I didn't watch at 3 p.m. on Saturday. You can now guess what one I watched. Again, though, it came up 2-0. Bournemouth were winning 2-0. You thought, oh, okay, game-setting match over there as well. Not to be the case. Sunderland, they're impressing in various different ways, but they're now showing that actually, even though we're losing, we can come back. We can turn games around. They've shown that they can score and see games out, but they're showing something different with this game against Bournemouth. And I know Bournemouth have only won one game away from home, but let's not start pretending that Bournemouth are a poor side. They're in poor form, but the fact of the matter is, the reality and the truth is, Sunderland are still a promoted team. Yes, the starting 11 isn't those that got promoted, but then let's give them credit and praise for how quickly they've gelled, how the players they brought in the summer have just clicked just like that, and they look like they've been playing together for beyond this season. I think what's going on at Sunderland is absolutely fantastic. 6th in the Premier League. 22 points on the board now after 13 games. A tremendous start for them. But this is a big win and an important win. 3 without a win, and if they lost this one, 4 without a win, African Cup of Nations around the corner, so they're going to lose quite a lot of their players. They've got a tricky run of fixtures. It's important they get points on board just to relax the fans. I'm still feeling a little bit of concern and worry from Sunderland fans. It's not something I can subscribe to. I still think I get it, but I don't have that emotional attachment, so I can look at it very black and white and clearly, which is, you're fine. You will not be getting relegated. But I can understand why they've seen disaster at that football club, and they will know if any club's capable of throwing it away, it's them. But I think every fan thinks that about their own club. Arsenal fans will be thinking, if anyone can throw away this title race right now, it's us. West Ham fans are thinking, if anyone can get relegated right now, it's us. It's just a natural thing as a football fan to have that pessimistic view. As yourself, you'll say, we're just being realistic, but neutrals will look at it differently to you because they view it without that emotion attached. But it looked like a tasty game. It looked like a game that Bournemouth just lost their heads in the last few minutes. Lewis Cook, I mean, that was a red card all day. That was definitely a proper bang. You get elbows like Hincapié. I don't think that was a sending off. I think he was genuinely jumping for the ball and caught Chalobah with his elbow. Innocent, as far as I'm concerned. Anyone that jumps uses your arms, right? That's natural. I mean, look, there was nothing natural about Lewis Cook. He tensed up and moved his arm towards the Sunderland player's face. I mean, that's a red card all day, every day. But it had got a little bit, it looked like it got a little bit tasty prior to that. But outstanding goal by Tyler Adams. Where have all these long goals come from? I don't know how to describe it. Goals from near enough on the halfway line. Kenny McLean for Scotland, Tyler Adams for Bournemouth, but Harry Wilson's kind of, it wasn't halfway line, long distance goal. Sure, there was another one that we've just, Richarlison for Spurs against Arsenal. Where do these come from all of a sudden? Players shooting from the halfway line, but it's working, they're going in. Great goal by Tyler Adams, great result for Sunderland. Everton 1, Newcastle 4. When I watched this game, it wasn't much of a contest, but this felt like a weird performance by Jordan Pickford. It looked like he wasn't there. Like mentally, it did not look like he was in that game at all. You know, the first goal's not his fault. In it comes, Chow gets his head on it, 1-0 Newcastle early doors. But then there was one point where O'Brien was waiting for Pickford to come out and he didn't, so he cleared it. They started arguing. Then Walter Mada's goal, he just dinks over Pickford. Miley's goal, which Pickford should be doing better. It looked like Pickford's head just was not screwed on in this game whatsoever. But an important win for Newcastle. They needed to get a win away from home in the Premier League, and it was quite easy for them. It was quite straightforward, but well done, Dewsbury Hall. That first touch is sensational. That is an absolute beautiful goal from Dewsbury Hall. And I have to say, I'm relieved to see Chow doing well. I did my predicted team of the season quite early on. I copied someone else's idea. And I put Malik Chow as one of my centre-backs. And that is one of the gambles I had. But in my honest opinion, I was very impressed by what I'd seen from him at Newcastle. I thought Newcastle would go on and have a really good defence this season. Therefore, naturally, you're looking at the centre-backs. You're looking at the entire Newcastle defence. So I put Chow in there. But it was one of them that I could look really stupid. But I have to say, I'm liking my pick at the minute. I think I've maybe called this one because he's putting in some top performances in a Newcastle United shirt. Not just his goals either. Spurs 1, Fulham 2. They're crap, aren't they? Spurs are crap. They're absolutely dreadful. 2-0 down after 6 minutes. It could have been 3-0 down after 10 minutes just to hit the post. Tete deflected, went in, but it's just, it's not that, right? That's just unlucky for you, doggy, right? There's nothing he can do about it. There's nothing Vicario can do about the first goal. But there's a lot the rest of the defence can do, because Chukwueze gets the ball, he sort of misplaces his pass, but it just trickles across the box, and every player's just like, No one deals with it. No one reacts. Nothing. Tete hits it. Bang, 1-0. Vicario comes running now. I don't know what he's doing. Just put it in the crowd. Just a crap clearance. Josh King does really well. Josh King has an underrated part in this goal because he knows his teammates left-footed. He knows Wilson's left-footed, and he lays it off perfectly for Wilson to hit it first time. I've seen things like that happen too often where the person in Josh King's position just passes it a little bit too quick to the player, he puts it on his wrong foot so they can't shoot.
So King does his bit, but it's an outstanding finish by Wilson. It looks easy, but that's not as simple as it looks by Wilson. But Vicario's not even sprinting back. He's just jogging back. And then the Tottenham defence have seen their keeper out the goal. They've seen Fulham get the ball. They all just stand there. There's none of them thinking, oh, better get back and cover the goal. There's just no reaction from Tottenham whatsoever. It's pathetic. And again, Tottenham fans are being criticised by ex-players for booing. Stuff it. They should be booing. 3 wins in the Premier League in 2025 at home. But that lot pay over $1,000 for season tickets. It's an expensive season ticket to have, the one at Tottenham. 3 wins they've seen in 2025. It's terrible. They are terrible. It's not even like they've been unlucky. They're losing and they deserve to lose. They're boring. I'm enjoying it. I'm not going to lie. I'm enjoying this. I think I'm enjoying it more. The thing with Postecoglou, right, it was just chaotic. But you always felt they were going to win the Europa League. But with Thomas Frank, he was meant to, but with Postecoglou, everyone, like when they hired him, there was a risk element to that hire. But Thomas Frank was meant to be the safe pair of hands. He was meant to be the guy that wasn't going to bring any chaos or controversy to Spurs, that they would just go about their business, they'd be fine. He's arguably bringing more because the results are bad, but it's just boring. It is just absolutely boring. But a big win for Fulham. They needed that just to get themselves away from that bottom 3. Just put a few points between them and the likes of Nottingham Forest, West Ham and Leeds. Big win for Fulham. Brentford 3, Burnley 1. This is the game I watched. I thought, oh, there'll be goals in this game. I mean, I was right. There was 4, but there wasn't any until the 81st minute. Up until then, it was pretty boring. Pretty boring. It was a performance from Brentford which suggested they could get sucked into a relegation battle, but it was a result from Brentford which suggested we won't get sucked into a relegation battle. And there was also a performance and result from Burnley which said we're not good enough for this level. I've got no complaints about any of the decisions. The first one, you can maybe make an argument that Tuanzebe does get something on the ball, but I do think he goes through Utara to get there first. The Burnley pen, stonewall, even the Brentford player's reaction. Coyote, who kicked him, just went, fair enough. And you can see Collins behind him going, oh, great penalty by Fleming. I really like that. In the corner, plenty power. Thiago made it 2-1 about a minute later. Then Utara with a really nice finish. And an underrated finish. He takes that extra touch to get away from Esteve as well. So an important win for Brentford. And it feels like an important defeat for Burnley because to lose against West Ham and now Brentford, these are games where they would have been looking at it thinking if we can get at least 2 points from those 2 games, they haven't got any. Sitting in the bottom 3 now, and you start to look at Burnley's fixtures and wonder where the points are going to come from. My team, West Ham, got beat 2-0 by Liverpool. We were crap. I don't think Liverpool were great. They were just not as crap as we were. Outstanding finish by Isak, though. Up until then, you could tell he was lacking confidence. He had a couple of half chances that he blazed high and wide, but there was nothing wrong with that finish at all. Great goal. Lucas Paqueta, I'm a lot calmer now, but I still think it's a disgrace what he did to get sent off. I think the first yellow card is harsh, but the second yellow card is inexcusable for me. You know, Bowen's giving him a push. Fernandes has got his arms around him. The Liverpool keeper, Alisson, comes up to try and drag him away, and he just keeps going. The referee walked away from him, and he went after the referee. But as soon as he got sent off, he shut up and walked off the pitch. That's funny, isn't it? Like, I'm really concerned as to why he did that. I'm suspicious, and I still think he's done it on purpose, and that's a horrible feeling, and that's a horrible accusation. I've seen his tweet with, well, it's not an apology, it's an excuse, but I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. He had plenty of opportunity to shut up and get away. The referee gave him plenty of opportunity to shut up and get away. A disgrace of a red card, and what was a very sad day to be a West Ham United fan with this man, Billy Bonds, passing away. We did not get a performance which respected Billy Bonds, and that's the thing that hurts me a little bit about yesterday. Not the loss, the manner of it and the attitude from some of the players, but a win that Liverpool needed. They needed that win, and it's a defeat we could have done without. Crystal Palace 1, Man U 2. I watched the first hour of this game, then I had work to do around the West Ham game. It's just the European hangover. Palace should have been 2 up by half-time. Mateta's missing a lot of big chances at the minute. I think every time I see Palace play, he's putting one-on-ones wide, not even saved, like wide of the goal. Good penalty. His second penalty was a good penalty. Good free kick by Man U and Mason Mount scoring, catching the entire Palace team out. Good win for Man U. Moved them up to 7th, I think, in the Premier League table. That's a good position for Man U to be in. And I don't mean to be patronising, but they are not Man City, Liverpool. Actually, no, I do include Liverpool. They're not Manchester City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal. They're not with those boys anymore. They are now competing at best with the likes of Newcastle United, Brighton, Aston Villa, and the surprise package of Sunderland for those European spots. That's where they are. And that's where they are on the table right now. This is a good win for Man U. I think Selhurst Park's a difficult place to go, but that's 4 games now in European football on Thursday night for Palace, and they've lost 3 and drawn 1 in the following Premier League games. So they're not coping too well with their European adventure, and they're not even picking up results in that either, just 6 points from 4 games. So Palace need to improve. And lastly, it finished Nottingham Forest 0, Brighton 2. I only seen the highlights from this one, but it didn't look like Nottingham Forest caused too much damage, although I have seen some Forest fans suggest that Matty Hutchinson made a difference when he came on, but they were missing Chris Wood, just someone in the box to put the goal away. But as for Brighton, nice little goal. I like that pass from Rutter into De Coupier for the first goal, and the second one, it's just bad defending from Maratta. Why am I doubting it? It's Maratta, right? This is where I could do with editing it. Tough. I'm stuck. Maratta. Anyway, bad header, but it was late on in the game and they were already winning 1-0, so I don't think it made a significant difference. But they missed Murillo by the looks and sounds of it, Nottingham Forest yesterday, and I think that's a bad defeat for them, actually. I think, Brighton have been inconsistent, although they are sitting 5th in the Premier League, so it would suggest that I am wrong about them being inconsistent, but big win for Brighton. If they want to get European football, and that has to be their ambition, they need to get wins at the places like the City Ground. They play West Ham soon. They've got to be beating the likes of West Ham if they want to get European football. So a big win. Anyway, let me know what you thought of the Premier League action over the weekend. Let me know who you support and how your team got on in the comments below. I'll be back later on today with my Premier League preview of the midweek games. A busy Premier League schedule at the minute. Thank you very much for joining me. Before you go, if you don't mind, please drop a like on the video by clicking thumbs up. That would be much appreciated. Subscribe if you're new to Tartan Geo. There you go. One attempt, one take. I think I've done all right, actually. Catch you in a bit.